Welcome to 52 Weeks of Gaming. I don't even know why I do an intro at this point. It's really just as a segue to begin until he starts talking. So just, take it away, Nick. So this week is Monster Hunter World. I have never played a Monster Hunter game before. So, like always, I have no idea what I'm doing or anything like that. But I know some people who have played it and said it's pretty good, so I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see how well I do exactly. If I can really hunt monsters or if I'm just a tiny piece of shit. So let's find out. So Monster Hunter World is the latest game in the Monster Hunter series, which is developed by Capcom, and the series itself is the second most successful series for Capcom behind Resident Evil, which is not a surprise there. I mean, Resident Evil has so much to it, and Resident Evil 4 had about like a billion ports, but that's a different series and not this one. So Monster Hunter World began on PlayStation 2 and then had 2, Tri, 4, and as World as their big ones. And World is the latest one, began on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in the beginning of 2018, and then later in August it was released on Windows as well. And when the game came out, it got fantastic reviews. It was told that it had great storytelling. It made it really adaptable for Western audiences for being a typically Japanese-focused game, in the sense of that's where the RPG elements of the game come in. And it's not even really a traditional RPG in the sense of leveling up, but you're building up your gear instead, and you have many different options for your weapons and your armor to go and upgrade, and that's where the RPG elements come in. The game itself involves hunting, which would be either killing or capturing monsters in what's called the New World, and the job is, as I said, to go and kill and capture them, and you have many different tactics to go and do that, and once you do that, then the quest itself is typically completed. Sometimes there's quests to go and get different ingredients or items that are throughout the world, but those are the main ideas. You have your assigned basic ones, you have your optional quests, your events, your expeditions, and your investigations, and there's a lot of stuff that stems from all of that. And they're constantly doing DLC to it as well. They've done things in the past where they've added in characters from The Witcher 3, from Final Fantasy as a crossover that they did, where they added in the Behemoth from Final Fantasy 14 into the game. Witcher 3 was allowing you to play as Geralt or Ciri, and Assassin's Creed, you were able to go and dress up like Ezio, and later this year they're coming out with their DLC called Monster Hunter World Iceborne, which adds a new region, new armor, and basically cold weather to go and figure out how to go and deal with it. And that's just kind of like the tip of the pun intended iceberg for all of this. And I'm going to send it over to Nick so he can kind of give more detail about the game itself. This week's game is Monster Hunter World, which I have never played a Monster Hunter game before, so I have no idea if this is a good representation of what all of the games are like, if it's something that they, mixed up. I don't want to say mixed up, just changed up how they go and do the gameplay, how they go and do things with how the game works. But I feel like it's a franchise that wouldn't really change, and I got to give that to Capcom for that. They're kind of set in their ways, which isn't really a bad thing. And what I want to say for Monster Hunter World is it's a game that I absolutely have a love-hate relationship with. I absolutely love it. I think the graphics are great. I love the different weapons you can go and use and customize, because you start out with 13 different types of weapons for different playstyles, and you can go and upgrade them based on things you go and get. And the story's pretty involving, and the multiplayer aspects and getting other people involved is really cool. The part that I hate about it is the part that I hate about all these types of games, which is grinding, because you got to go and get resources, and you have to go and get more materials to build better things. And so it's just like you get to a point, and then you got to grind, and then you're able to defeat a monster, and then grind, and then you defeat a monster again, and it kind of goes there. Or you have to do the other thing where you kind of do some grinding, but you have to hope that someone else is on the same quest as you. So that was a problem that I ran into a few times, where I was on a quest and knowing that none of my friends were going and playing the game at the time, so I couldn't go and be like, hey, can you help me out with this? And I had to basically look online and hope and keep my fingers crossed that someone else was going and on this quest itself. And sometimes they weren't, and so I did optional ones. I did events, I did investigations, I did expeditions. There's tons of different things to go and do in this game and tons of different locations. That's something that I'm not going to go and downplay at all. There is a lot to do in Monster Hunter World. I mean, I'm probably overall spent about 18 to 20 hours in this game this week. And I think I got maybe through what I would consider Act 1 of it, because you get to this certain point where you defeat this elder dragon and it's like, yeah, everything's done, and then suddenly it's like, things are messed up now and you need to explore, and it's kind of like the beginning of the next act. And so I guess really the halfway point on the game of it being 2 different acts. But so it's a lot of fun. I absolutely love it. I don't want to go and say that it's a horrible game. It's just the grindy part is something I personally don't like in games. But that doesn't mean that Monster Hunter World is a horrible game by any stretch. As I said, it's fantastic. There's so much to go and do. It's so expansive. There's a billion different things you can go and do in it, and different play styles on how you want to go and play it, and what you want to go and build, and what armor you want to go and have, and all of those things are great because it allows you to play your own way. That you can do a great sword and kind of be the one that's just chopping away, or you can go and use any of the bow guns and kind of be hanging in the back, or you can go and use the bagpipe and be more of the support, or go and use like the proto lance and kind of be a combination of attacking and ranged and like close combat. And so there's tons of different play styles you can go and do, and tons of different combos, and it is something that kind of has a high skill gap to it, because obviously you need to be good at the combos and know how to evade and dodge, and you have to do a bunch of research on the monsters that you're fighting, and it is something that shouldn't be taken lightly. I will say that for the game. It's so expansive, but you need to be invested in the game in order to, I think, really, really enjoy it. And it is something that I got more invested in as time went on, but it is something that you need to, if you're going to put time into it and you really want to go and get the most out of it, then you're going to have to go and use the Monster Hunter guide and figure out what parts of the monster are breakable or severable, and what damage does most, and what resistances, and what sort of status effects you're able to go and do to them. And there's so many different parts to it that you can go through it again with the number of different styles, and with how many different people you can play with online. There's the possibilities really are endless with it, and it kind of is ridiculous for that, and I gotta give it to the developers for making the game so ridiculous. But it's fantastic and I absolutely love it. And it's something that in the beginning of the week I was like, hey, heard great things about it, definitely want to go and do it, and I want to continue with it. And then kind of in the middle it got a bit slower because of that grinding and not finding people for the quest, and then it did pick up at the end because I found more people that were on the same level as I was. But it's something that even now I want to go and play more and keep doing. I got lost the other day in how many quests I went and did, and it was 3 hours later before I knew it. I was like, gotta do one more. And I love games that do that. They pull you in, and then they kind of keep you there and hold you there, and they're just like, you're stuck here. And it's something that I enjoy because I absolutely love it. It's not something that I felt forced to go and play or do, and it felt like a natural part at a certain point. And I did hit that point where I actually fully loved it and enjoyed it. And so I think it's a great game, and I think people should go and play it. And if they've played Monster Hunter, yeah, it's definitely something that I think would be good to check out. So as always, who do you think would want to go and play this game? Well, as I just said, I think it's something that people should go and play, especially people who play the Monster Hunter series. I haven't played any of them, so I can't use it as a basis on how it compares to the others in the series. But I think it's a fantastic game in and of itself. I think there are parts that people with Monster Hunter knowledge would understand a bit more than I would on some references that they go and make. But you're in this whole new world with all these new monsters, and so it's a new environment, and that's what allows a lot of people like myself to just jump on here. And I think it's something that if anyone likes that sort of RPG immersiveness and kind of, I want to say, Final Fantasy-esque sort of idea of the grinding and the classic Japanese RPG tactics that are in it, they're gonna go and love this game, and that's what I think the people that this game is designed for. And the other question, which is the normal one, is do you think you're gonna go and keep playing something like this? I know you said you've loved it, but is it something that, as you've also said you hated it, you would want to go and keep playing because you have that, love-hate relationship with it? Oh, I'm definitely going to be playing this game still. I did not think that initially I would be, and even in the middle of the week I didn't think I would be, but at the end of the week I was like, I need to go and play this game. I need to go and do more of it. I definitely need to finish up the story and do more quests and do more optional missions and more events and more expeditions, and just get involved with the game more, because I feel like there's so much that I still have yet to do, and I want to go and explore it and see all of it. And I think that's a fantastic thing in a game, is that it wants you to keep coming back and playing it, and it's so immersive. And I know they're doing more DLC for it soon, and so they keep on putting out stuff for it, which is great, and it's just fantastic, and I think everyone should go and play it.